Welcome to episode 90 of the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jamin Oaks.
And I'm Brian Hines. What's up, guys?
Today we're getting into all the action from OVW TV 1334, emitting live from legendary Hot Point Davis Arena. But first, we want to thank Karn Alexander, and Josh Ashcraft is our next interview.
Yes.
Sat down with Josh this past weekend while he was in town for Comic-Con. Saw him a few times over the weekend while he was in town for Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's always great to see him.
Those are
despite popular opinion.
Again, thanks for Karn for sitting down with us. Love that interview. If you haven't listened to it yet, go check that one out, and make sure you look forward to Josh Ashcraft's interview as well. Tiny Brian's back there with us too. Tiny Brian.
Hey, here I am.
Tiny Brian.
Hey, there you are.
But speaking of Comic-Con, where we ran into Josh Ashcraft.
Yeah.
That was this past weekend, Lexington Comic and Toy Convention.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend.
This is your kind of place, Brian Hines.
It's very much my kind of place.
This is where all of the, different kinds of geeks and guys like that get together, and there's a lot of nerd unity, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing to see.
It really is. I mean, to see the whole entire convention center just filled with people in costume of all different kinds, all the vendors, all the celebrities. It's always a fun weekend. I had my son with me and spent a ridiculous amount of money. So there's that.
And I know I was calling them geeks and nerds a second ago. I mean that with love. There's not a lot of places like Comic-Con, truly. Davis Arena is one of them, where everyone is on the same page and everyone gets along and everyone's got each other's back. And like being Davis Arena, when Davis Arena's full and it's like that, that's pumping. But imagine that energy with like 10,000 people in costume running around.
I would love to be there for that.
I mean, we were the Lexington Comic.
You talk about geeks and nerds, Jackman. I would like to point everyone in the direction of our Instagram feed or our Facebook page, where you can see that over this weekend there was a picture captured of our man, Mr. Oaks, and of course, Brian, you are actually sporting your Comic-Con look from this weekend.
Yes,
mostly.
I had a look that was inspired by SNL Jeopardy. So my shirt says "Suck it, Trebek," but my jacket says "Turd Ferguson all the way." It's fun. Yeah, it's good times.
Which is Burt Reynolds' famous character from when he used to come and do Jeopardy, or when
Norm Macdonald
played Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, pretend to be him on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah,
you gotta love that, and you've got the big hat in the good old JR position there.
Yeah, it's fun. I couldn't keep it on my head because it's too tiny, and that's why it's funny.
And
I did enjoy cosplaying this past weekend. That was fun.
I need to step up my game as far as that goes. I couldn't really think of anything, so I just left the house in a sport coat. So there's that. But I wanted to do a quick show and tell because I didn't buy a whole lot of things at the Comic-Con, but I got 3 things that really mean a lot to me, and I wanted to show them to you real quick.
Hit it.
While he's pulling those up, we could note that, Jackman, you also came in costume, and like you can see that on our Instagram feed. Would you care to tell the people?
Yeah, I enjoyed the cosplay. I cosplayed as one of the Sailor Scouts from Sailor Moon.
In fact, we have some Sailor right over your shoulder there on one of our barrels.
No, that is not the one I cosplayed.
No, but that is the Sailor Moon series that this character comes from.
Yeah, I cosplayed as Rei Hino for all of you Sailor Moon people out there.
And she has another name, right?
Sailor Mars.
Thank you. And would you care to explain what this look consisted of?
Pink overalls, bright pink overalls.
They were delightful. Having actually
custom made, one of one, baby.
And our friend, the April, a seamstress.
Yeah,
hooked you up with that, and
those.
she did a phenomenal job, like she always does. She's done some work for me. She's done some work for you. I've got more things that I'm going to need some help with because I'm not too handy with a sewing machine, but she is a professional.
I actually need her to. I have a vintage Wrangler shirt that I think she'll be able to stitch up for me. I've put a hole in it.
Oh yeah, she can definitely help with that. I want to get her to do some stuff with this blazer, but we'll talk about that at another time.
Let's see what you got from Comic-Con.
Okay, so I wasn't going to do it, but I thought, how many chances am I going to have to get one of these and have an experience where I can just talk to one of the GOATs of all time? I got a picture of William Shatner.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That is a very specific picture to have gotten signed.
Yeah, I love him in this chair and how pensive he looks. And it's
for those of you that can't see, it's the James T. Kirk classic James T. Kirk
T for Tiberius. And totally expensive, by the way, but that's beside the point. So we'll put that right there.
We won't ask.
Yeah, we won't ask. So there's that one.
That looks good on camera.
This one meant a
In
little
the
bit.
classic, the original series outfit with the signing right across the chest. Very nice, Mr. Hines.
That was also JSA certified, by the way.
Excellent. Oh, yeah, because they have that's the certification people who's like, yep, he signed it.
Yep, exactly. So this one I've wanted for a long time, and I've got an apartment down here, and I've really felt like something was missing. So I ran into this guy last year. He's a fellow by the name of Robert Lamb. He was a writer and storyboard artist for the original Filmation Masters of the Universe TV show. So I got a signed sketch of Skeletor. And he wrote, "Nya" at the top. And there are ribbons at Comic-Con. And he had one that said that at the bottom of his badge. And I asked him if I could have one. He said, well, in order to earn this ribbon, you're going to need to say that in his voice. So I gave him my best Skeletor impression, and he rewarded me.
Let's hear it right now.
Nya! You boob.
That got you a ribbon?
It did. Yeah, well.
The you boob sold it.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing I got was a script that he had written where he introduced the Moss Man character. And Moss Man is very near and dear to my heart.
I was going to say, even I know nothing about the He-Man. I know you love the Moss Man, though.
Yeah, Moss Man and I go way back. During the pandemic, my son and I had a project called the Eternity Wrestling Federation where we made our own matches with my toys from back in the day and his action figures, and that kept our minds off of all the horrible news that was coming in every single day for months and months and months. And the thing that means the most to me actually cost me $0. And so if you know me in real life, or if you even picked up on this from the show, I'm a big Sesame Street fan, PBS, Mr. Rogers, that sort of thing. And of all the people that I ran into at the Comic-Con, I ran into Ernie from Sesame Street.
I thought that was Frank Oz.
No, it was Ernie. And he gave me a rubber ducky.
Oh, that's the one.
That is the one.
That makes podcasting time lots of fun.
It does, and I think
I was gonna say, let him sit up there.
My rubber ducky needs to sit right there for now. So thank you to William Shatner, Robert Lamb, and Ernie for making this weekend a little extra special.
You know, I was gonna bust on you for a second about the rubber ducky, and then I remembered that. And correct me if I'm wrong. You legitimately, you in your bathroom, there's just a tub.
Yes.
So you actually might get some practical application out of the rubber ducky.
I'm not going to say that
he absolutely will.
Yeah, I did.
It is.
I totally did. There was a bubble bath. I didn't have like bubbles all over my hair like Ernie usually gets, but I did have a rubber ducky floating in the tub, and that made me incredibly happy as a middle-aged adult that I got to meet one of my childhood heroes. So there.
All the impressions today. You got one more? We'll do one more 80s impression. Got Skeletor, got Ernie.
We'll just see.
Do you perhaps pity the fool?
No, but I did notice that at Bourbon and Toulouse, the sweet tea and unsweet tea both feature images of Mr. T. One of them he is smiling for the sweet tea, and one of them he is angry for the unsweet tea. So, pity the fool.
We are moving against the clock. You guys want to send us to break?
I'd like to get in some
OVW
tour updates first.
Tour,
I'll do the tour updates.
Jeez, man. Come on. Come on, man.
Every single Thursday, OVW Rise tapings at Hot Point Davis Arena. That is the place you want to be if you find yourself in the Louisville area, traveling through or traveling especially for it. You want to be there at 6:15 when the doors open for the dark matches. And, of course, you want to stay till 9 p.m. till the end of the tapings for OVW Rise every single Thursday at Hot Point Davis Arena. March Mayhem is at the Hot Point Davis Arena on March 29th, 2025. Still got a couple of weeks of Thursday nights cooking for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. OVW Latch and Armageddon out in Pikeville, Kentucky is part of the legendary Hillbilly Days Festival. April 25th, 2025. There's a free all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, Ohio, June 28th, 2025. And OVW and the stars thereof are returning to Lexington, Kentucky for one of our favorite shows at Manchester Music Hall, July 5th, 2025. All tickets can be found at OVWTIX.com. We'll be back right after this.
Hey folks, Tiny Brian here with you. No, not the executive producer of the OVW podcast. No, this is Tiny Brian, host of Bluegrass Homefront. Bluegrass Homefront Season 3.
And don't fast forward, guys. You might think you've heard this one before.
This one's new. It's been a year and a half. There's actually Season 3, Episode 1 in the feed today.
Wow.
Featuring music by Downtrend, music by Shannon the Dude, and his band, Alice Blueground.
Come on. Credit the band. Come on.
Hey, I did.
Come on, man.
And we talked to the University of Kentucky football radio, like the radio team who covers them for officially, their statistician, a man by the name of Corey Pross.
Right on. That's cool.
Yeah, we actually talked to him back in August, when we all still had hope for the football season last year. So let's, give us a little grace on that. But it is some old hope that maybe carry us UK football fans forward. But then we talk a little bit about how we came to be in this room and how we came to bottle spirits. It's a weird story, folks. But join us and hear about it. That's at bluegrasshomefront.com, Bluegrass Homefront, wherever you get your podcast. Bluegrass Homefront Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. YouTube coming very soon. We are very happy to be back, and come join us, have a listen. And now back to the OVW podcast.
All right, about one in the evening, Brian Hines.
We start the evening off with a rematch from Overdrive featuring Rachel Leigh, which she, in this case she is making her Rise debut, versus Leela Feist, who is accompanied to the ring by Ashton Adonis.
Smart choice to bring this one up from the Tuesday night show.
Yeah.
So this is a good little matchup here between Leela Feist and Rachel Leigh. Let's start kind of, I think, with the obvious here. Ashton Adonis not as willing to poke his head in on Leela Feist matches as Leela Feist is on Ashton Adonis matches.
It seems as though they've finally come to realize that that's not really the move. It's not really working out for him. But I totally agree. This was just as much a wrestling match as it was a gymnastics competition in a lot of respects. Both of these ladies super talented, and the acrobatic work and all of the cartwheels and flips and splits were really just an impressive way to start this episode. This episode was a heavy hitter, and these two girls knocked it out of the park right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. And, I agree with the acrobatics and the athletics of it all, but I think we got to give these two girls some props on their just good old-fashioned wrestling as well. Rachel Leigh, in kind of her, as you said, Rise debut here, there were a couple of things that she pulled out that I was genuinely impressed by. One of them was a neck breaker elbow drop. Yeah. It kind of hard to explain it. I'm totally borrowing Josh Ashcraft's explanation of it right there. It really, really kind of impressive maneuver. I wish I could remember what the other one was, but there was a couple of things from her that I was just okay, I see that we can do more than, cartwheels and stuff, which I love,
Oh, yeah.
But you gotta get some steak with that sizzle.
Yeah.
And these two girls brought it. Want to give a lot of I guess kudos to Leela Feist here as well. We've seen her, mostly on Rise losing. We've seen her mostly on Rise being at Ashton Adonis' side. She's really, really, really shaping herself into a full character.
Yeah, over the course of the last month or so, she's made very, very big strides in terms of her in-ring presence. She's got a new look. She's got some new gear. Mm-hmm. She's got purple hair, and purple's my favorite color. So she's rocking it. That with the ring gear of Rachel Leigh, it kind of looked like Easter in the ring. There's a lot of pastels and purples and stuff.
Not a bad call.
For me, it seemed like grape and cotton candy.
Oh, yeah.
Reminded me of when Carson Drake had the purple trunks right before he left, and I started calling him Carson Grape.
You love that.
It is one of my favorite things of 2024.
Yeah,
to
we
be
know.
sure.
Yeah, we should have left it in 2024.
Oh.
I do remember what the other maneuver was that Rachel A pulled out.
What was
it
that?
was like a front flip leg drop, and it just made the leg drop look absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
It was that kind of athletic, acrobatic thing that we were talking about, but in this instance was also super just like, it looked like she took Leila Feist's head off. I thought that was 1, 2, 3 when she pulled that thing out. And it wasn't. So it kind of begs the question, what else are we going to see from Rachel A as she becomes more of a hopeful mainstay on this women's division?
Yeah. I don't know, but I get the feeling that she's got a whole bag of tricks, and she brought them all, and we'll see him in time sooner than later.
A great debut match here for her on the Thursday night show. Leila Feist, though, takes the victory. Surprisingly, rather cleanly. But
no outside interference or any shenanigans.
They've not had the best of luck with the outside interference. You were talking about how Ashton seemed to have not gotten involved in this. I think it's more he learned his lesson.
Good, rightly so.
Non-title match is our second bout here between the title holder of the OVW Media Championship, that is Dustin Jackson, Kentucky's favorite son, versus Ryan Von Rocket. These two guys were a spark plug together tonight.
Yeah, I was really impressed with both of these guys, but Ryan Von Rocket seemed to pull out all the stops.
There was something different about Ryan Von Rocket. Maybe it was we've seen Dustin Jackson and Ryan Von Rocket go back and forth a number of times. Maybe it's just old friends getting in there, showing off, two guys that know each other relatively well. But maybe it wasn't just that. Maybe just Ryan Von Rocket ate his Wheaties that morning. He looked amazing in ring.
He definitely did, and I feel like his intuitive powers were definitely on point, because he seemed to telegraph a lot of what Dustin Jackson had planned to try to deliver to him, and he wasn't having it.
Yeah. I knew that we were kind of in a different match when Dustin goes for the DJT pretty early, and Ryan Von Rocket pushes him off and heads to the outside of the ring and says,
We're right there. We just saw it.
Says, we're wrestling tonight.
Yep.
This ain't going to be another one of these matches where you walk away with a victory with your big fancy move. We're wrestling tonight. And they brought it, man. They brought it.
No, not only that, but after he dips out of the ring, he comes back in with a sunset flip through the ropes into a one-armed roll-up. Which was really impressive. And the other thing that he did that really impressed me, he went for a drop kick. Dustin Jackson was in the corner. He went for a drop kick, but actually ended up grabbing him with his legs and flipping him over. And that was the first time I'd ever seen that. And that was super impressive. Great performance by, is he just going by Von Rocket now?
Yeah, it'll always be Ryan Von Rocket to me.
Well, you can't stop the Rock.
Actually, in some ways, it'll always be Ryan Howe to me. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
But, largely, we know Ryan Von Rocket is going to give a great match every time, right?
Yeah.
Tonight, though, I think really just a little extra glitter. Tonight. Yeah. But from a storyline perspective, Dustin Jackson, we're heading toward the pay-per-view. The week before the pay-per-view, we're going to have a 4-way to decide the number one contender at the pay-per-view 2 nights later. We know from a storyline perspective, Dustin Jackson is in control, not in cruise control, but in control.
Yeah.
And he's just not gonna lose one to a Ryan Von Rocket type on a Thursday night.
No, especially not in this case when there's so much going on going into March Mayhem.
So needless to say, Dustin Jackson takes the victory. Bout 3 was Tony Evans with Jay De Niro, superior Tony Evans with Jay De Niro, and Cash Flow. And, on top of all of the stuff that you're used to hearing from Tony Evans, will star in it. He promises Cash Flow that he's not going to let him chop him.
Yeah, you're not chopping me, and I'm not losing.
Which makes the match very simple, the story of the match very simple.
Yeah.
We want to see Tony Evans get chopped.
We sure do.
How can Cash Flow get to the chop? I do think that one of the more interesting things that happens during this match is when Cash Flow's on the outside and gets grounded by Jay De Niro.
Yeah.
Kind of did not see that coming at all, especially with a chop. Nonetheless, kind of playing Cash's own game. I was very, very surprised by that. But I think that, we know on the meta that like Cash Flow is going to be, taking a break from the promotion somewhat soon. He lost the contendership thing last week. You send a guy out like Tony Evans, a heat magnet like Tony Evans, and you have him telegraph very plainly at the beginning, hey, everyone in this crowd's not going to get what they want, which means everyone in the crowd knows that it's only a matter of time till they get what they want.
Yeah.
This is just a great way to keep Cash relevant, let him get a win back. In this way, Tony Evans is very Teflon in taking losses from, a guy like Cash Flow.
Yeah.
Tony Evans is very Teflon. Ultimately, there's very few people that he could lose to that he's kind of not Teflon to losing to, which is a testament to him. But I just think this was a fun way to see Cash Flow back out in the Davis Arena ring, let him get, his big, large comical chops on Tony Evans, let Tony Evans sell the ever-living hell out of him, and put a smile on people's face, right?
Yeah.
Cash Flow takes the victory. He after, of course, botched interference from Jay De Niro.
Yeah, my favorite part of this is when Cash gets thrown outside and Superior Tony Evans grabs the mic, and he's giving the crowd an earful, and Cash keeps tapping him on the shoulder, and he keeps brushing him off because he thinks it's the referee, and then the referee comes around to the front of him, and he realizes that it's not the referee tapping on his shoulder, it's Cash Flow, and then we get what we came for, which was a couple of ginormous chops to the chest of Superior Tony Evans, and that pretty well sums it up for Mr. Evans this evening, even with the botched interference from Jay De Niro.
Up next, we see a in-ring talk show sketch, which why doesn't Zachary D. Pittman III just have one of these?
I don't know. It could be Pittman's Pit.
Yeah. Like why doesn't Zachary D. Pittman III just have an in-ring talk show sketch like on the regular?
He should.
I think he should.
Let's get him a banner and a weird potted plant. I'm down.
Yeah. No, I think that this should be a more regular thing. Here in this instance, we see it to serve a very specific storyline. That's the ongoing storyline between Star Rider and Evil Z and all of that shenanigans. And Star Rider takes, at the beginning of this interview, there's kind of a mishap, a technical mishap, and Star Rider takes very smart, like very quick advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Star Rider, when he first started this heel experiment, may not have been as quick to capitalize on that, but this version of Star Rider, he's very in tune with the heel persona of Star Rider.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job. He got fired up during this, too. I've never seen him that fired up. He's usually a pretty even keel, but no, he was, we got spicy Star Rider.
So he is kind of calling Super Z a fraud, et cetera, et cetera. All of the things that he's been talking about Star Rider and all of his like spooky black and white videos that he was doing.
Yeah.
Was this the loudest the crowd was in the evening, by the way? I felt like they were so loud through this whole in-ring segment.
I don't think it was the loudest of the evening. I think that probably would go to the women's tag match. I think got the most response out of the crowd.
Yeah.
But, there's nothing like a good old heat-seeking segment, and that's all that, Star Rider and Evil Z are, especially when they're dealing with Zachary D. Pittman III. This is a guy who does not get violent.
No.
Like, decidedly so.
Well, he's a reporter.
Exactly. You can't be attacking the journalists.
No. He said he was the official 3 times, the official reporter of OVW.
He is.
But
he is the official reporter of OVW. Absolutely devastating, though, the Star Destroyer through the table.
Yeah.
Where Star Rider just sits on Zachary D. Pittman.
Yeah. That was the exclamation point on the whole thing.
He looked badass.
Yeah.
Like he looked badass. It's perfect. Like just went straight through that table. That table broke in a zillion pieces. He's just sitting on top of Zachary D. Pittman III, and he picks up his glasses and spits on them and throws them off. It's such. This is.
They were broken, right?
I just remember him picking them up and spitting on them. This is the best out of ring heel Z has been, or heel Star Rider's been.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 110%.
Yeah, it was a great segment. I'd love to see more of this.
No notes,
Yeah.
actually. Keep it as it was. That was great. It was great stuff. Great stuff. Can't wait to see what happens next. I kind of am curious, too, what the line is between, like, Zachary D. Pittman III getting hurt and Super Z getting hurt. You know?
Yeah.
Like, what is, like... When he breaks into Super Z, is he like completely removed from Zachary D. Pittman? Like I've got some questions about the psyche of the character,
and rightly so.
I'm sorry, Brian, but it sounds like he's nerding out about superheroes, and I just really needed to bring that up.
I'm nerding about wrestling. I'm over here hosting a wrestling podcast. If I wanted to watch a superhero movie, I would watch none of them. I don't know. I'd watch that one movie where he de-ages Robert De Niro. That's what I would watch.
I don't know that one.
The Irishman. That's what I would watch.
That's not real. That's a Martin Scorsese thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move along.
Is that not a superhero movie?
I don't think so.
Oh. Well, you want to take us away? Do I have egg on my face?
No more than usual. So
yeah, this show's over. Okay.
So the main event of hour one, Leather Daddy Doug Basham joins the OVW commentary team. Josh is not working with him, so he decides he's going to go in the back and grab some drinks or something like that. But he comes out because the main event is Luscious Lawrence, one half of the OVW Tag Team Champions, versus Eric Surge.
And this is to qualify for the four-way.
Yes, this is a March Mayhem qualifier event.
That will be decided. We know we have Omar so far, and we have now the winner of this match, whoever that is, by the time we get done talking about it. So, yeah. Doug's coming out to survey his potential suitors in ring.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to say earlier, while we're talking about changes in commentary, lovely Linda Kay she's got some jokes. These past couple weeks, there were some there were some jokes that were landing like really, really hard from Linda Kay, and it's been really nice to hear her in real time, like, develop who Linda Kay is as the character, develop where she, what her role is on a commentary desk. Like, she's been really good these past couple of weeks.
Well, sure.
And I just wanted to mention that. I was thinking about it earlier during the Leela Feist match and forgot to mention it. But while it was on my mind, I wanted to mention it. Yeah, so Leather Daddy Doug is out here. What's he keep calling Eric Surge?
Derek Splurge.
Not his best work.
No.
He's had some good ones.
Yeah.
That one.
I think our favorite Dougism from this week is, what's the difference between Iron Man and Iron Woman? Iron Man's a superhero. Iron Woman's a command. Yeah,
that one actually kind of got me too.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was pretty good,
work.
Doug. Like, that one kind of, I'm not going to lie, that one kind of got me too. These are two hosses. These are two big boys who are actually very, very similar.
Yeah.
As well. Not just in the way that they're built, but I would say in the way that they wrestle. Kind of both known for power moves. Both can be very, very quick, very, very powerful. I'll take it from the meta. I thought that Luscious Lawrence was going to win so that we were going to see Omar and him in that four-way.
That's kind of what I figured too, but no, I mean, you're not going to get past Eric Surge that easy.
No, and I was surprised. I loved it, actually. I loved that Eric Surge won.
Yeah.
But I was surprised because I thought that we were maybe sniffing near the end of Beaches and Cream. And what a way to start that off than them getting in each other's way for a shot at the national heavyweight championship.
Yeah, that would have been something if it would have been down to just the two of those guys, or if it would have been those two in the Fatal 4-Way on the 27th.
Right. Well, that's where they would have been.
Yeah.
Is at the Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, just down to those two guys in the Fatal 4-Way, or just like in general. Yeah, just anytime you see tag partners against every man for themselves, some interesting stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's not where we're heading with that. Not unfortunately, I guess. I love Beaches and Cream. But just with Omar really taking off, and Luscious from a storyline perspective, like he lost to Brandon Beretta, he just lost to Eric Surge. I thought that we were kind of sniffing near the end of Beaches and Cream. But I'm not wishing for it by any stretch of the imagination.
No, absolutely not. I love the Beaches and Cream matches. They've really got something special going, and the Cream is polarizing. Some people love it. Some people are Team Cream, myself included. Some people have such a distaste for it that they've started petitions to get it banned from ringside. And sorry about your luck, because I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
I'm a journalist and I'm impartial. But Eric Surge taking home the victory here, I think, is great booking. I think Eric Surge, was touted from the first event of the year.
Yeah,
to say, hey, pay attention to this guy. And then also love the handshake at the end.
Yeah, the show of sportsmanship on behalf of Luscious Lawrence. It was a great match. Eric Surge came out on top, and good for him. The one other thing that Doug said that I thought was funny, he said he reminds him of a young junkyard dog minus the yard and the dog. He was all junk.
Yeah, Doug's got some jokes.
He's got some jokes.
Doug's got some jokes, but Derek Splurge, he makes up for him with the other ones.
He gets the win.
Yeah, 3 out of 4, he was hitting.
Yeah,
in the final moments of hour 1, we see Jamin confronting Kal, and then Kal gets straight up black bagged and thrown in the back of a van.
Yeah, what the
CIA
hell?
Style.
I love that this
like a political prisoner, just like black bagged.
Who was the masked man?
The mayor.
Was it?
That's who it looks like. He's the masked mayor.
The guy that we see the back of his head. He's wearing a luchador mask.
He does look like the mayor. I just saw it. Sorry.
He's got dreads.
Yeah, but just the mask looks like the mayor.
Yeah, Mayor McCheese.
No, you our friend the mayor.
The mystery mayor.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so we're left wondering for hour 2 what's going to happen to Kal. What does Jamin really want from Kal? Like, when we see Kal again, what kind of shape is he going to be in?
We just see him in the back with a bag over his head in the back of the van.
And also, yes, right. That's how we see him at the beginning of hour 1. We're left wondering. There's also something for me kind of more menacing about Jamin's ally, Jamin's cohort, wearing the kind of brightly colored lucha mask, as opposed to a black mask or something like that. It makes it a lot more kind of like that bank robber scene in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It makes it for some reason, a lot more menacing when it's brightly colored and kind of something that you recognize as something that should be childish or something.
Something that should be happy in a circumstance that is anything less than.
Right.
It makes it just a little bit more menacing, a little bit creepier, a little bit unsettling.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Small stuff, but good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the first match of hour 2 here, Brian Hines.
So this match is a tag team match between Anthony Toatelli and Brandon Beretta. No nonsense, Brandon Beretta on one side versus Los Dos Ofios, made up of Maximo Suave and Hoda Peso.
Yeah. So I think when we were talking about this last week, we were talking about from a storyline perspective, kind of like a weird pairing, Anthony Toatelli and Brandon Beretta. We've now seen them interact. Didn't know that they had anything to do with each other, but it's a shot at the pay-per-view potentially. So everybody in the back's going to want it. I do think that they could be a somewhat interesting tag team if I didn't like them so much as singles guys.
Yeah, and one of the other things that we wondered about was how are these two guys who are great as individuals are going to coexist as a tag team? Are these two things going to go great together? Mm-hmm. These two guys going to be able to gel? Are their styles going to complement each other? And no.
I think that
to be bluntly honest, I mean, it worked out about like how we thought it would.
Yeah. These are two, and man, these are two like dogs too. Like these are two guys. Brandon Beretta talks all the time about his wrestling pedigree and his MMA background. Anthony Totelli's a road dog at this point. He's been doing this for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Like these are two like dogs who have a lot to prove in OVW. Anthony Totelli's brand new to the scene. Brandon Beretta's been in a turkey suit. They just can't seem to get on the same page. It seems as if Anthony Totelli is more often than not the voice of reason. Brandon Beretta is a little bit more of the showboat, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit less there to win the match, and a little bit more there to be in a match, right?
And in it for himself.
In it for himself.
Like you said earlier, he will talk about his wrestling background, his pedigree. That is the equivalent of Tiny Brian saying, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Pikeville.
No, I'm from Pike County, about 45 minutes from Pikeville.
Oh, any other time when we talk about Hillbilly Days or Appalachian Wireless Arena, you'll say, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually from Pikeville.
It's Appalachian Wireless Arena, actually.
Okay. I will come on this set right now. I'll grab that steel chair over there.
Well, you don't have to come on it.
Wow. Oh. I'm going to point at the side and we're going to move along.
Again, like we say all that to build toward the obvious. Like the story of this match was always going to be Los Desafios know each other better than the people that they're standing on the other side of the ring from.
Right.
And in that, they were able to take home the victory.
Yeah, the word of the day is cohesion, folks.
Bout 6 of the evening. The should have been main event. Should have closed the show.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Definitely.
Carter Kaufman and Sophia Rose versus Lovely Miss Larkin and the OVW Women's Champion, J-Rod, the most dominant champion in the entire company. Needs to be repeated every time you say your name.
I think we're up to 20-1. That one loss being against
Carter Kaufman, who's standing on the other side of the ring from her. Much as we predicted last week, Lovely Miss Larkin is uncontrollable.
Total chaotic neutral.
Was this the best Lovely Miss Larkin overall performance? Just like what this, let's be honest, this was the Lovely Miss Larkin play. Like this match was the Lovely Miss Larkin show. She was the best performer in the ring, both from a wrestling perspective and a character perspective. She is the glue that held together this match. Lovely Miss Larkin is the best thing going in the women's division right now.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, and it's literally the most beautiful train wreck you could not pull your eyes from because you don't know what's going to happen next, and that is where all the appeal lies. Is are we going to get happy Miss Larkin? Are we going to get angry Miss Larkin? Are we going to get stabby Miss Larkin with the imaginary knife? Nobody knows, not even me.
Well, there's a point where Miss Larkin ties the tag rope around her own neck. Okay, like she's just doing everything and more.
Yeah, all the things.
There's not a moment that she's not moving. There's not a moment that you can stop from watching her. There's not like she is a presence, a true television presence, and a true in-person presence.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Carter Kaufman was able to survive the match after that imaginary stabbing. I mean, did you see that? I mean, she got imaginary stabbed like a dozen times. I'm surprised she didn't like imaginary bleed out.
And that's, I guess, in Larkin's mind, she had taken out Sophia Rose's partner via imaginary stabbing, and now their partner. Like, what? How did you dissect The lovely Miss Larkin double turn. That's what we're triple turn.
I don't know. I knew it was coming. I knew something was coming, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was. I love how J-Rod has the mask over her face in order to get the tag, and then later on, when J-Rod is going for the pin, lovely Miss Larkin breaks it up and then jumps down by Sophia Rose and then cradles her head and is just completely comforting but completely frighteningly psycho at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't get storytelling like that anywhere else, folks. You just can't. Right there. We knew it was going to happen. It was 3-on-2. No matter how you slice it, it's just a matter of who is that third person that you're going to get in the ring and whose side are they on.
I have probably never seen someone who knows how to find a camera so quickly as Miss Larkin does.
Yeah. Just a complete professional and probably the most entertaining thing I've seen in wrestling in years. I mean, I love the Dude Love, Jack Von Dansoff. Mm-hmm. There's been a ton of great things we've seen over the course of our podcasting time here.
Absolutely. But, both in OVW and in our general fandom.
Yeah, and otherwise. But, I mean, that... her being the X factor is what was the deciding factor in the victory for Sophia Rose and Carter Kaufman in this one.
Yeah, and Sophia Rose is able to pick up a victory. What's the name of her fancy full splits stunner?
Oh gosh,
is it the Bloom?
Yeah, because it didn't. It's a really good name, and I don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, I think it's something like that. I
think it has to do with blooming.
That's a good. I can't remember what it is.
I can't either off the top of my head. We've gotten so far.
I still feel cruddy from 2 weeks ago.
Still?
Yeah, a little bit, man.
Well.
Actually, I might have caught a new crud with all and I'm not. That's not me joking. That's not joking.
Extra crud.
There's a lot of people at that Comic-Con.
That's true. Yeah,
and the masks were not hypoallergenic.
Nothing there was.
No, you're right. Nothing there was.
Yeah.
So,
but even at the end of this, after Sophia Rose and Carter Kaufman take the win, lovely Miss Larkin's up there congratulating them and worshiping them for their win. So, I mean, the unpredictability, the element of you just don't know what you're going to get anytime she's on screen is just,
And actually, sorry, Zachary Pittman III, you just got bumped down to number 2 on Who Needs the In-Ring Talk Show segment. It's lovely, Miss Larkin.
Maybe they could have one together.
They do. She does seem to have a little affinity for him, so maybe.
That's a pairing I really want. I've wanted since the moment that she was like, I like Zach. I'm like, I like you liking him.
Yeah.
Please like each other.
It could be the Pit and the Split. Zachary D. Pittman and the split personality of lovely Miss Larkin.
Well, I mean, Zach is
welcome to the Pit and the Split.
Hey, I've heard worse come off of OVW TV in terms of tag names. Lion Chops.
I love that we've been around long enough to have running jokes.
I love that we've been around long enough to where I don't have to really set anything up.
The only joke was letting that tag team run around being called Lion Chops.
Oh.
Ooh.
Let's be clear. It was one announcement. They were never really known as that.
No, they said that every single time they came out there.
Yeah.
Come on. I think they might have had T-shirts.
I still think Mammoth at the Disco was the way to go.
Mammoth at the Disco was slept on.
Yeah.
Mammoth at the Disco was slept on. But a little too inside. I see why they went with Tusks and Chains.
Yeah, I hear you. It is what it is. But speaking of jokes,
yeah, let's get into this little piece of business. This very small, very quick piece of business here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys are the real wrestling fans, but I'm sorry. Is Jesse Goddard a face?
Yeah.
When did that? What didn't we all hate him like a year ago?
Jesse Goddard says whatever he wants to be because he's the face that runs a place.
Well, and he is one of the bigger stars in OVW history, and he's a part timer. And until he beats up Cody Rhodes, that basically makes when he comes out and beats the shit out of Kal Herro, then he'll be a heel. That's basically what we're looking at with someone like Jesse Goddard, right?
Yeah, and I don't see that happening anytime soon.
It might happen. Who knows? This Jamin Olivencia stuff's weird. Who knows what's
I don't know.
Who knows what's happening with all that? Yeah, Jesse Goddard comes out and he reminds everyone that he was able to move Mount Kadim, in their previous matchups. And then the fly on the cow's ass of OVW Icon Lee comes out, and Jesse has to swat him with his tail.
Yeah.
He has to knock him straight out of commission. People were calling this the quickest pin in OVW history.
Right. Can we verify that? I think they said it was 25 seconds.
It wasn't even that.
I have a way I think that we can verify it, but I'd have to dig around first.
Yeah, I cage match doesn't tell me things like that. I
think that there's a way that you can fudge with the search settings that we could get it figured out.
It looked like so I just scrolled back and watched this. It looked like it was about a total of 8 seconds. It was like the length of a bull ride.
This is Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston levels of squashery here.
You guys will notice I even put the phrase right there in the notes for you.
There are notes here?
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Sure enough.
But here's the real thing though, is like this is a true thanks for coming, because I've been saying this for weeks. Icon Lee gets put in these positions because he's good at it. And he does everything he gets asked to do, and he doesn't mind to get squashed by Jesse Goddard, and he doesn't mind for people to boo him, and he doesn't mind to come off kind of silly. This is a true thanks for coming for Icon Lee, because he will continue to be on television for as long as he allows himself to be put in positions like this. And more importantly, it's put in positions like this from a wrestling fan's perspective. From a wrestler's perspective, he's taking every opportunity he's given, and he's exceeding what he's being asked to do.
Given his personality and after the time that we were able to spend with him, that does not surprise me at all. That is very much in line with his brand and his character. So, anytime he gets the call, he's going to be out there front and center, running his mouth like he always does.
And Icon, if you hear this, come down so we can get you in a regular interview. People can hear maybe people can meet James, right? That was James. James is his first name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe people can meet James because they're seeing a lot of Icon Lee. Let him come down here on a regular day. Let him meet James if you hear this. And if you don't, somebody tell him.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the day of the Manchester show.
That would be great. I would love to have Icon Lee by.
Do we know what day of the week July 5th is?
I believe that is a Saturday.
Oh, well.
Yeah, Friday, 4th of July in Lexington, Kentucky. Manchester Music Hall. Hopefully you make it, because I think the whole city's gonna burn down.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
We should go ahead and get tickets.
We're gonna be off.
I don't think they're available yet.
We're gonna be off that day, right? On July 4th.
Of course we are.
Okay, I am not going to be available.
Oh, we've had a party on the 4th before.
I'll be available for that. But otherwise, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but. Lexington, 4th of July, my favorite. It's on a Friday. Can't wait.
And, Saturday night being that night when OVW most often does pay-per-views and very rarely does house shows, I'm kind of hoping. I don't know anything. Nobody's told me crap.
Speculation. Wild speculation.
Just wild speculation. I hope to see Independence Rage come from right there.
Oh, that would be something. That would be outstanding.
That would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, so here's hoping. My cousin the Bandit's coming down for that show. He's already decided. He'll be here for
awesome.
March Mayhem, too. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. About 8 of the evening, not about 5. About 8 of the evening. Final match of the evening, though not the final segment.
No, not quite.
Anthony Katina versus Jake Lawless, trying to get into that media championship 4-way. This is an eliminator match to see who will be at the penultimate rise before the pay-per-view and the all 4-ways night. That's going to be a hell of a night.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's the 27th, March the 27th.
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
All 4-ways all night long.
And you're not even in Cincinnati.
What is a 4-way? Onions, mustard, coney, spaghetti?
It is spaghetti, chili, onions,
not coney,
and beans.
Beans
in
the chili.
Yeah,
I didn't think you guys did that.
Well, I mean, Skyline's not my thing, but yeah, you can get it with beans.
I thought it was spaghetti or no spaghetti.
I am anti-spaghetti. I don't like spaghetti on chili. I'd rather just have the chili or the conies or whatever.
Yeah, I'm taking the coney every single time.
Yeah.
Anthony Katina versus Jake Lawless. I think that Anthony Katina was the right choice here. Anthony Katina in a 4-way match, in a Rush division or a media championship division 4-way match is going to be amazing. He's the guy that you want.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's definitely got talent. He definitely put on a show in this match, but he hasn't been in OVW long, or back in OVW long. It's been like, what, about a month?
Or so, yeah.
4 or 5 weeks. So during our podcast time, this is our first look at him. And with that being said, you know, whenever somebody new has a Rise debut, you know, he had his a few weeks back. Anytime anybody comes in, you kind of wonder what that person's going to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And in his case, I kind of feel like it's like when you're little and you and all your friends are like hanging out after school, and then there's like a new kid that you don't really know, and you're like, man, is this guy going to be cool? Is he going to be kind of douchey? You know, are we going to get along, or is this, you know, the guy that we're just not going to like, or the guy who's going to be like a thorn in our side and stuff? I think this guy's all those things.
You're undecided. You think he's acting out because he wants you to think he's cool?
I don't know whether I say that, but you know, there are some things that have been awesome that we've seen, and then there are some that really just haven't. Like there's an awful lot of showboating.
There is an awful lot of showboating,
but there's an awful lot of talent to go with it.
I could do with less of the showboating myself. I broke it down a couple of weeks ago. I don't like cocky heels. I like cocky baby faces.
Yeah,
and I think Anthony Katina, by all kind of metrics, is a babyface.
Yeah, I would say you're probably right. Yeah,
but I do think that in a match that's like a 4-way match with, you know, guys that are moving a million miles an hour, he's a guy that's going to fit in and chop it up really well in that kind of environment. And it's an environment we haven't seen him yet in his return to OVW.
Yeah. I'd like to see him mess with one of those lazy boy elbows and go flying through the ropes again like he did last week or the week before. I thought that was pretty funny.
He does, for all of his showboating, he's more than willing to go above and beyond in terms of what he does to his body.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I like that double arm hook. You got to
tweak the levels. You got to tweak the levels.
I like that double arm hook reversal kind of backbreaker thing he did.
I mean, he's been around. He's learned a lot.
Yeah, from time in Mexico and probably Buc-ee's.
You think he went to Buc-ee's?
Who wouldn't go to Buc-ee's?
Do you think he got in a fight at a Buc-ee's?
Who knows, man?
Well, I'm just trying to determine what he learned at Buc-ee's.
He learned about the brisket. He learned the brisket song. That's what it is.
Oh, well, I haven't learned that song yet.
Well, that means we just need to take a trip to Buc-ee's then.
I will pass one eventually. Anthony Katina qualifies for the Fatal 4-Way on the 27th episode of Rise. So we end OVW this week with a pre-filmed segment, a vignette, the kind that they don't make anymore, Brian Hines.
Yeah, after seeing Kal outside with Jamin Olivencia, Kal being kidnapped,
black bagged, straight up,
put in the back of a van, we see the result of that, and that leaves us with Kal Herro tied to a chair, and Jamin Olivencia being right there because he's got some things that he needs Kal Herro to hear.
This was the best looking and best sounding vignette, I hesitate to say ever, but in our time covering OVW, there was a markedly higher quality of production for this vignette.
Yes, this is far and away much better than anything else we've ever seen. This was the beginning of a cinematic storyline that is, you know, this could easily be the best thing we see in OVW all year.
So Jamin has Kal kidnapped, tied up in that warehouse from that mission in Grand Theft Auto 5 where Trevor has to torture that guy. and he's sitting and talking to Kal, and it's kind of some of the stuff that we heard last week in ring.
Yeah.
You've been honorable. You've been fighting the good fight. I see potential in you. Jamin Olivencia stuff. And then he says, I don't want to get the line wrong, Brian Hines. What's the line about fight? He says he actually says the words. Together we can fight the revolution. Right?
Yes.
Is that the phrase?
He said, "Together we could defeat the revolution."
Together we can defeat the revolution. Okay, I got it a little wrong.
But to paraphrase, yes.
So if that's the last thing we see, then we got a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
Who else is involved? How long has this been going on? We were all surprised when we know Jamin's good at keeping a secret. We know Jamin could come out of nowhere with some things. His entire presence in the revolution was
enigmatic.
Huge secret. People were shocked. We were there that night.
Yeah.
The people that knew Jamin from his previous 10 years in Ohio Valley Wrestling were shocked to see him back, right? This is a different, same intensity, Jamin, right? But it seems as if his moral compass is guiding him in a different direction than that last stint in OVW.
One of the original members of the Revolution when the Revolution took over all the gold in OVW. And the last time we saw him compete in the ring was an absolute banger of a match with Kal Herro.
One of the great matches that we've seen in our time.
Which left him with a plunger on his head at the end of it, and Kal takes the win. Which at the time, I thought, wow, that in terms of matches and storytelling, that is like way up here. But this installment, this storyline, this potential where he's not part of the Revolution anymore after giving the standing ovation to Super Z last week and then clocking Leather Daddy Doug in the middle of all that. Was really kind of surprising. Like, where are we going with this? So now we see where we're going with this. He wants Kal Herro. He wants to enlist Kal Herro to help him destroy the revolution.
So I got a couple questions. Do you think anyone else is involved right now?
I would imagine that there would certainly have to be because the revolution has a pretty hefty bench. There's a lot of people in the revolution. So I don't see just two guys taking the whole thing down, although not to take anything away from either of these guys.
Do you think anyone in the revolution is involved?
Well, that's a good question. We sat down and talked to my longtime friend, Dalton McKenzie. He was not too happy with the revolution.
So I had that in the back of my head when I asked the question, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, we'll see a return to the ring for Leo Fox.
Yes.
He's been away for a while, so we don't know exactly
That's
where.
In the ether. That's in the ether.
We don't know exactly where his head's at. So I would not be surprised if there were people inside the revolution who were working against them because, you get so many people like that, so many egos. You put them in the same room. You try to get them all on the same team. Everything's not going to be copacetic forever.
Yeah, I think we've got at least one person in the revolution on the inside. We know that he has at least one guy out there wearing that lucha mask.
That's true.
So I guess my third question kind of on the way out here, and there was some stuff that you wanted to mention that we'll get to before we can totally wrap up.
What was it?
We've seen some OVW faces in and around wrestling that I think you wanted to touch on.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're
one last question before that. How long until we see someone else join on camera outwardly, no questions asked, align with Kal and Jamin? If this is I think this is the decision Kal's going to make. Let's assume it is. How long are they a duo until we see a third person?
I don't really know. It's tough to say. I'm really just kind of along for the ride on this one. I don't really want to speculate. This is one of those things where I just want to sit back and watch as a fan because I love the storytelling and I can't wait to see where it goes next.
Well put. Now, give us an update about some of our favorite OVW talent, where you've seen them, where other people have seen them in the time that they haven't been at OVW. So.
Yeah, they've been busy. OVW's presence is all over, felt in AEW. There was a match between the Outrunners and Bobby Lashley.
The Hurt Syndicate?
Yeah, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. 4 OVW alums in the same ring.
That would be, yeah. At Shelton Benjamin for sure. Did Bobby Lashley go through OVW?
I believe so, yeah.
I've seen that. So that was on the internet with that was for.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I mean, I guess he would have. That would have been the time. So, yeah, right on.
We saw Tatjevic in AEW.
Yes.
Fantastic news for her. Congratulations.
Moving up to AEW.
Yeah. Layla Gray still out there in AEW with Top Flight. Certified Luke Curtis was in a WWE commercial.
Yeah, he was in the new 2K commercial.
Oh, yeah.
In full gimmick, too, which was, I thought, maybe this is just me being a wrestling nerd. I thought that it was great that it was Luke, classic Luke, baby blue, trunks, baby blue, robe. Undeniably, it was Luke Curtis.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get called up for those jobs, they'll just slap you in the black trunks and say, you're not a character. But there's a second out there where Luke Curtis and the classic Luke Curtis baby blue exists in WWE universe.
Blue Velvet,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody else?
I mean, outside of the fact that the Elimination Chamber, the thing that stole the show was Cody Rhodes and John Cena, both from the OVW back in the day.
Yeah, I think we should make this kind of a recurring segment. I don't know if we'll do it at the end of the show or maybe we'll put it in the beginning or something. Or
maybe even in Fan Zone Live.
Maybe in Fan Zone Live. Yeah, I think it'd be
we
nice
definitely need to keep tabs.
I think it'd be nice to get maybe a monthly update or something big happens kind of
absolutely
update, because the tree of OVW is a very, very big one. So it's not going to be very often that a week or even a day goes by that there's not going to be an OVW alum that is making waves on the wider wrestling world.
That's right.
So, yeah. Well, that was a good idea, Brian Hines.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. We got to get to Fan Zone Live. This has been the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. For Jack Minogues,
I'm Brian Hines.
Malachi P.S. Woodard, and Tiny Brian. Thank you.